So CPAC, one of America's largest conservative conventions, just kicked out the January Sixers twice. So I'm going to show you who and what money is actually behind CPAC. And by the end, I bet that a lot of you are going to be like, damn, we really got to throw our own party. And you're right. So this year, I'm going to help us throw one. More on that at the end.
That's fine. No, the police can. The police, excuse me, please don't touch me, sir. You're assaulting. Let's go. You're assaulting me. The police can come and do this. You guys can. You guys are.
I mean, a little dramatic, but after what he's been through, I get it. The conference had okayed him to come. They had said the J6ers were all good. He paid for a booth. He had 22 tickets. He paid for all these January 6ers flights to get there. They arrive, they show up, and then suddenly they're being told that they are not allowed. There are multiple videos floating around of all of them getting kicked out in different ways. Ann Vandersteel reporting how she overheard the chairman of CPAC talking to a podcaster next door to her about how it was just bad optics to have them there. And so he was like, glad to see them go. CPAC put out a statement that it's untrue that we're not allowing people to come in because they were involved with Jay when the videos are all over the internet. Like, you guys know how the internet works? Then they like let them in for a second and did a fake presser about how they were there, pretending nothing was happening. And then they kicked them out a second time, which I'm just speculating, but it looks like they just let them in long enough to make it look like they'd let them in, get a little video with them, and then they kicked a bunch of them out.
This is unbelievable. They just threw a bunch out again. Here they are. Look, there's Coy. Look here. Here they are. Look, this here. So here's Jake, here's Coy.
And now listen, before we get into the meat of this, let's be clear. A lot of great things happen at places like the Turning Point conferences and the CPAC conferences. There's great people there, and it's fun to go to them. And I'm not trying to knock everyone that's involved by any means. I went to America Fest, and I had a lot of fun, met a lot of great people, and just avoided Ben Shapiro. But Matt Schlapp, who's lying about letting them in, he's the chairman of CPAC, technically of the American Conservative Union, which is what is above CPAC. And he cut his teeth on George W. Bush's deputy assistant and political director during Bush's first term. He worked closely with Bush, Dick Cheney, and the whole administration throughout the Iraq War there. His CPAC compensation is over $500,000 per year. Don't pay attention to any of this. And of course he's a Zionist, because that's, par for the course. CPAC describes himself as the nation's oldest conservative grassroots organization since 1964. They took a quick break during the 80s to help the Iran-Contra scandal happen. I'm sure they had no idea that they were smuggling cocaine into the United States or sending weapons to Iran illegally. But if you actually follow the money on this, it's really not surprising how these things get handled, because the ACU, the parent organization of all of this, one of their top funders is Koch Industries. One of the darkest money billionaire rabbit holes in America. It's the Koch family. SourceWatch's information is a little out of date. It's from like 2017 and prior, it feels like. But you've got the oil industry, ExxonMobil funding them over the past decades. Then you've got this really weird foundation that we're going to look up in a second because they just seem sketchy. And Koch family industries, tiny little donation. Until you look into that weird family foundation and realize that if you read carefully, they were co-founded by the Koch family. The ACU also takes a ton of foreign money because they do conservative action all around the world. So it's kind of like a shit show trying to figure out who's really funding this. One thing they do is they rate politicians based on how conservative they are. And I couldn't help but notice that they gave Thomas Massie a 90%, but they gave Mike Johnson a 93%, 92%. Yeah, that's awkward. Apparently their ideal conservative candidate is Ted Cruz with a 99%. So MAGA, this is the rhino bullshit putting on your conservative conferences. But like I said, lots of cool shit happens there. They had Bukele there. Sounds like his speech was awesome. I didn't get to watch it yet. Elon also did a pretty cringy thing with a chainsaw that was given to him by Milei. Just a few days after the president of Argentina rug pulled his entire country on a fake crypto scam twice in a row in the same day, trying to pretend it didn't happen while there's this whole scandal with his sister, working with the guy that orchestrated the coin or having sex with him or Lord knows what. It's a whole rabbit hole. And the fact of the matter is these big conferences, they need huge money to put them on. If you've ever been to a Turning Point event or to a CPAC event, you need millions of dollars to put on events that big. And that's cool, but they are what they are. And they're always going to be controlled by big money because it's Con Inc. I couldn't really find any equivalents on the left, actually. It's just kind of interesting and weird because I'm not trying to be partisan about this, but I really feel like we need an alternative because let's be real. meeting people in person matters. Because we recently just had 2 wild scandals in the right-wing Twitter space. I'll spare you the photos, but we discovered that this Patriarchy Hannah account is actually not at all who she claimed to be, and she's doing obese fetish porn on the side. Clearly a subversive actor infiltrating the right wing. Found out that Roz Alerts, this big conservative news account, he is an ex or possibly current Antifa journalist running other Antifa accounts. And he's also buying and selling diapers and wearing rubber pup stuff. And it's just all very weird. There are a lot of examples of faceless ex accounts subverting movements that are genuinely important. And there's nothing better to combat this than meeting people in person, going to meetups, going to these conferences, going to these events where you can meet the other journalists here and your heroes and like the people that are in your screen in person and get a sense for them in real life is a great way to sniff out people's bullshit. Like just go walk past the Daily Wire's booth and you'll smell exactly what I mean. But no, jokes aside, I have been working with a team for quite some time behind the scenes for something else going on. And we realized it was beyond time that we throw our own event that is not focused necessarily on left or right, not focused on any specific culture war policies, but rather focused on the things that we all agree on, which is ending corruption, seeking the truth, having genuine debates, openly discussing things among intelligent, competent individuals. Don't worry, if you're dumb, you're also welcome to come. Because CPAC trying to call them a grassroots organization is ridiculous. Grassroots means by the people, for the people. And one thing I've been realizing is that if you wait around for someone else to do it all the time, it's never going to get done. You just got to do it yourself. So we're going to be hosting a party in June in Boston, the home of the American Revolution. We're going to have musicians, some really cool ones. We're going to have speakers. I'm about to send out solicitations right now. And probably some comedians and other stuff going on. It's probably going to be the first of many, and we're going to reinvest any and all profits back into the event, making the experience amazing for everybody. And I'm going to be purposely inviting people from a bunch of different perspectives. I'm going to be inviting people that I've publicly disagreed with on this app, as long as it's people that have genuine conversations and have genuine expertise and stuff to offer to the conversation. And obviously, we'll be inviting the homies. Basically, anyone who doesn't lie or spin narratives for a living on here, you're invited. More to come on that soon. We'll have ticket launch and we'll have a real announcement soon, but I just couldn't look at what was happening at CPAC without realizing that this is exactly why we're doing this. The internet has opened all of our eyes, but the internet also comes with some serious problems. And where real change starts, where real action happens, is when you get everyone in a room together to meet, to greet, and to come up with big ideas. So, stay tuned.